at the risk of offending my modeling colleagues, models are good, but models often generate the kind of anxious question that you asked, is how bad could this possibly get? And as I've said many, many times, a model is as good as the assumptions that you put into the model. And very often, many of these assumptions are based on a complexity of issues that aren't necessarily the same, as Dr. Burke said, from one country to the other. So when you give a model, you have the worst extreme, you have the best extreme. Often the worst extreme means that you don't do anything. You just, as we say, let it rip and let it go. If you go to the lower end, that means you actually mitigate it really to the utmost. So what I like to do as a scientist, a physician, a public health official, is to not ignore models, but say, look at the data as it's evolving and do everything you possibly can to mitigate that instead of getting overly anxious about the extremes of the model. Again, not to push them aside completely, but the reason the president made the announcement today about going to the end of April is because we want to make sure that we don't prematurely think we're doing so great. We may be, but we want to push it to the extreme. So take that with you and maybe you'll be less anxious, okay?